Good morning, students. I hope you all are keeping well. Now, that day we had started with the chapter Deep Water, and I think so. The first two portions were very clear to you. Still, let us revise the first two portions first, and then we'll continue with the third and the final portion today. We started with this chapter Deep Water, where Douglas was 10 to 11 years old and he reached YMCA pool. He chose YMCA pool because it was safer as compared to Yakima River, and plus the floor of the pool, the drop of the pool was very gradual. He had to fight with some of his inferiority complexes. One among them that he was very lean and thin, and the second was that he had a fear of water in his subconscious, which he had developed when he was just 3 to 4 years old, and he went to California beach with his father. Still, you'll find Douglas a very brave boy, that he overcame those inferiority complexes, went into the pool, purchased a pair of water wings, started to ape the other boys, and he was feeling very comfortable. One day, when he was sitting there was a big bully boy who came, and just for a prank or a fun, he threw Douglas into the deep end of the pool. Now, for Douglas, this was an experience. According to him, he nearly died, an experience where he nearly rubbed shoulders with death. Nearly he died. So we have to describe that misadventure, and it can be asked as a 6 mark question. But more important is the feelings of a dying man, how a person struggles and how a person feels when he is about to die. So let us see his struggle first. We had divided that into three portions. One was when he was thrown into the pool. How did he feel? And we remember those points from here. It is here. I landed in a sitting position, swallowed water, and went at the bottom of the pool. You remember all these words? So he was frightened. Those 9 feet appeared like 90. He was frightened, but he could not that much frightened that he could not use his intelligence. He used it. He pushed the bottom of the pool, and he expected to come up like a cork, but that did not happen. He came up very slowly. While coming up, he did three things, if you remember. He opened his eyes, saw nothing but yellow water. Then he wanted to catch hold of something, but just the water came in his hands. He tried to yell and scream, but nobody heard him, and he flailed on the water for some time. And then, while going down the second time, which is here, while going down the second time, he understood what was that terror. He was fighting like people fight in a nightmare, and he understood the terror of death. And we remember those lines which are here. And then sheer stark terror seized me. You remember those lines? Terror that knows no understanding, terror that knows no control. It is that terror which only that person can understand who has experienced that terror. And then, still, he remembered that I have to touch the bottom of the pool, come on the top. He did the strategy again, but when he came out this time, only his eyes came out, and he was not able to take in air. So, when going down the third time, it is here. He sucked for air, and automatically we can understand that his lungs got, instead of air, got water. And then Douglas submitted to death, and he felt very peaceful. The tender arms of mother around him, like he was floating in space, felt unconscious, dizzy, all those. And the last line where we had ended that day was this one: I crossed to oblivion, and the curtain of life fell. Now, today we have to begin from this particular place. We have to understand that day Douglas felt something. Then, few days, the phobia of water followed him, and then few years also the phobia of water followed him. So these can be asked as three separate 2 mark questions. But more important is to understand how a person feels when the person develops a phobia of something. It's not that day, it's not few weeks, it's not few months, it may be few years. And that same thing happened, and Douglas felt handicapped. It is then, when we are going to do the last part, that he hired an instructor and learned swimming. So let us see the remaining journey of William Douglas. Let's begin from here. The next I remember, I was lying on my stomach beside the pool, vomiting. The chap that threw me in was saying, but I was only fooling. Someone said, the kid nearly died. Be alright now, let's carry him to the locker room. Now understand one thing, Douglas from his side had died. He had crossed to forgetfulness, and the curtain of life for him had fallen. But just at the nick of the time, he was saved. The boy who just threw him in said, I was just fooling. For him, it was just a prank, but for Douglas, it was a life changing experience. Then, several hours later, I walked home. I was weak and trembling. I shook and cried when I lay on my bed. I couldn't eat that night. For days, a haunting fear was in my heart. Now, this was the instant emotion. Now, for days, a haunting fear, a fear that continuously haunted him, continuously followed him. The slightest exertion upset me, making me wobbly in the knees. Wobbly is like trembling, shaking. So his knees started to shake and his stomach used to become upset and sick to my stomach. I never went back to the pool. I feared water. I avoided it whenever I could. Now you must have seen we have done the instant emotions. We have done those emotions which followed him for weeks. Now let us see what happened when these emotions kept on following him for years. A few years later, when I came to know the water of the Cascades, now people say that the water of Cascades is so beautiful that it's just like a very silent stream flowing, and people say the water here makes soft murmuring noise and it's very soothing. So now, when he saw the water of Cascades, he wanted to get into them. Now, see what happened. A few years later, when I came to know the water of Cascades, I wanted to get into them, and whenever I did, whether I was wading the Taten or Bumping River or bathing in warm lake of the Goat Rocks, the terror that had seized me in the pool would come back. It would take possession of me completely. My legs would become paralyzed. Icy horror would grab my heart. Now, these places are enough for us to tell. I mean, enough for us to know that Douglas went to so many different places, but at every place, the fear of the water followed him. See the line, the last line that is written. My legs would become paralyzed and icy horror would grab my heart. Like there is the horror which has been defined as icy. It used to make his heart completely chilled. Then this handicap stayed with me as the years rolled by. In canoes on Main Lake, fishing for landlocked salmon. Salmon is a type of fish. Bass fishing in New Hampshire. Bass is also a type of fish. Trout, type of fish again. Trout fishing on the Deschutes and Metolius in Oregon. Fishing for salmon in the Columbia at Bumping Lake in the Cascades. Wherever I went, the haunting fear of the water followed me. And the last line is very important for you here in this case. It ruined my fishing trips, deprived me of the joy of canoeing, boating, and swimming. Now, this is where he decided to hire an instructor. See, this is very important. Douglas said, there are many, Douglas said, I'll not live with this handicap. Now, you must have understood there are many people who live with fears. Like many people don't know swimming. For them, there's nothing big. But still, in this case, Douglas said, I would not live with this handicap. He desired and he hired an instructor. Now, remember one thing, whatever takes 15, 20 days for an ordinary man took him around 9 months to shed off that fear. But in 9 months, he evolved as a completely different person. So, let us see it. I used every way I knew to overcome this fear, but it held me firmly in its grip. Finally, one October. Remember this particular month over here that we are saying? October. Okay. Finally, one October, I decided to get an instructor and learn to swim. I went to a pool and practiced 5 days a week, an hour each day. The instructor put a belt around me. A rope attached to the belt went through a pulley that ran on an overhead cable. He held on to the end of the rope, and we went back and forth across the pool, hour after hour, day after day, week after week. Now, I'll explain you this thing. If we have the length of the pole on the top, he stretched a cable. Now, to that cable, he attached a pulley. Now, to that pulley, he attached one more rope. One rope was held by the instructor who was standing on the side, and the other end was tied with the belt around Douglas's waist. Now, because of this, the instructor held the rope, and Douglas was able to move here and there on the water. The problem was not here. The problem was when the instructor loosened the rope a little bit and Douglas went inside water and he opened his eyes. He saw just that yellow water and the fear came back. Slowly, Douglas was able to overcome this fear. Those who know swimming understand that swimming has got three particular portions: floating, bubbling, kicking. Now, floating is when the instructor asks you to hold a float board or hold the sides of the pool. Got it? And then we understand that we learn to we know how to float on the water. The second is the instructor says that go inside the water, hold your breath, go inside the water and bubble the water out and come out. That's bubbling. And kicking is when they ask us to hold the sides of the pool, bring our legs up and kick at the water. So now the first process was he was teaching him floating. So let us see what happened when Douglas was taught swimming. On each trip across the pool, a bit of the panic seized me. Each time the instructor relaxed his hold on the rope and I went under, some of the old terror returned and my legs froze. It was 3 months before the tension began to slack. Then he taught me to put my face underwater. So till here there was floating, now sea bubbling. Then he taught me to put my face underwater and exhale, and to raise my nose and inhale. I repeated the exercise hundred of times. Bit by bit, I shed part of the panic that seized me when my head went underwater. So here is we understand that he was teaching him floating. Here is where we understand that he was teaching him bubbling. Now let us see how he taught him kicking in these lines here. Next, he held me at the side of the pool and had me kick with my legs. For weeks, I did just that. At first, my legs refused to work, but they gradually relaxed and finally I could command them. In this manner, he taught him kicking. Thus, piece by piece, he built a swimmer. And when he had perfected each piece, he put them together into an integrated whole. In April, he said, remember one thing, he had started in October and then till April. It's around 6 months that he had done. Okay. In April, he said, now you can swim. Dive off and swim the length of the pool, crawl stroke. I did. The instructor was finished, but I was not finished. See the lines which are so good. The instructor was finished. That means his task was done. But the task of Douglas was not done. He had to see whether without that instructor also he could swim alone in the pool or not. So let's see it. But I was not finished. I still wondered if I would be terror stricken when I was alone in the pool. I tried it. I swam the length up and down. Tiny vestiges of the old terror would return. But now I could frown and say to that terror, trying to scare me, eh? Well, here's to you. Look. And off I'd go for another length of the pool. Here you understand terror has been personified. He's talking to terror. And he's saying what? You're trying to scare me? See, here. He was able to now challenge terror. Okay. Now, this went on until July, but I was still not satisfied. I was not sure that all the terror had left, so I went to Lake Wentworth in New Hampshire. So, the first place that he went to, you have to remember the place is Lake Wentworth. Okay. Lake Wentworth in New Hampshire, dived off a dock at Triggs Island and swam 2 miles across the lake to Stampact Island. I swam the crawl, breaststroke, side stroke, and backstroke. Only once did the terror return. When I was in the middle of the lake, I put my face under and saw nothing but bottomless water. The old sensation returned in miniature. Sensation came, but it came very less. I laughed and said, well, Mr. Terror, what do you think you can do to me? See, he was making fun of terror here. It fled. Now, it word has been used for terror. Terror ran away, and I swam on. Yet, I had residual doubts. See, why residual doubts? Because once the terror had come at Wentworth, so now he went to another place. Let us see which is that place. At my first opportunity, I hurried west, went up to the Taten to Conrad Meadows, up the Conrad Creek trail to meet Glacier, and camped in the high meadow by the side of Warm Lake. The next morning, I stripped, dived into the lake, and swam across to the other shore and back. So the place which he went second time was, you have to remember, Warm Lake. Then the next morning, I stripped, dived into the lake, and swam across to the other shore and back, just as Doc Corcoran used to do. I shouted with joy, and Gilbert Peak returned the echo. I had conquered my fear of water. He shouted. The reason he had conquered, not even a single second that sensation came. The experience had a deep meaning for me, as only those who have known stark terror and conquered it can appreciate. Many people, after reading the chapter, say, what new? A boy only learned swimming, that's it. But only those who know how to shed off phobia will appreciate the tenacity of this man, how this man came out of the fear of water. In death, there is peace. There is terror only in the fear of death, as Roosevelt knew when he said, all we have to fear is fear itself. Don't have a fear of death. When it will come, we'll feel very peaceful as Douglas was feeling. So we only have a fear of death. Then, because I had experienced both, the sensation of dying and the terror that fear of it can produce, the will to live somehow grew in intensity. Douglas said, I had experienced both. I had experienced the sensation of dying. I had experienced the terror of death. So I thought that better is to not have any fear of death, because while dying we all feel very peaceful. So now he wanted to live. At last I felt released, free to walk the trails and climb the peaks and to brush aside fear. And here is we understand how a person was able to shed off his fear. And the chapter is so relevant. The reason is it is written by Douglas himself, it is his own experience. So the chapter is so realistic and plus at the same time so motivational for all of us. So after that, I'm going to give you the textual, the additional, and the practice questions. Kindly follow the instructions.